All bunnied out, Paul has to dig deep and go high-tech to fall back in love with rabbit control.
You're earning money, it puts you off rabbits, especially when you've got a big tapeworm in it or...
You can't beat banter on a shoot day. We join Dan Thor for the last of this season's pheasants. Poachers with lurchers. Tony Blair tried to ban them. How's that going? We're giving away a set of Jack Pyke clayshooting luggage priced at more than £90. We have news, we have hunting YouTube. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain. There's a love-hate thing going on with Paul and rabbits. He shot a lot when he was a youngster, and he simply bunnied out.
When you're gutting 100 of them in a night, you're earning money, it puts you off rabbits, especially when you've got a big tapeworm in it or... Just saying the facts. That's when you wear blue gloves, trust me. But these will be clean as a whistle. But look at that first, absolutely belting.
PRSD, post-rabbit shooting disorder. With the game season over, Paul has to turn his attention to this type of pest control, although it sometimes feels that every heat signature wants a slice of the estate's crops.
Obviously everyone knows now rabbits is not the rabbits they used to be, and when I was a boy again, I used to shoot 100 rabbits a week, one night a week, go rabbit shooting, shoot 100, then by halfway through the season, say the season, I start shooting into like October, late September, October, all the way through till about April. I shoot 100 a week, and that was my pocket money. Headshot, 2 headshot rabbits with £1 each. Skinned, 120, but I didn't do skin, I didn't have time for that. But like I say, not as many around now, but there's pockets on here where there's sand. Where there's sand, there's rabbits. And then we're going to go to the far end, and there's a bit of stubble. So what we'd try and do, we'd do it off the bike, but then we might do a bit of walking as well, but we'll have to see how we get on. That's the plan of action, rabbit pie.
Are you enthusiastic? You're looking as if you're a little jaded. End of season?
No, I'm ready. No, yesterday, Sunday, even getting feeders in. So yeah, but Barbados is calling.
Are we going?
No, you're not.
This evening we are thermal rabbiting. As we will hear later, Paul has used all methods of rabbit control. Let's see how effective he is with his new HIKMicro dedicated Panther scope on top of this Tikka 2.2. Riding side saddle is David, who will be using the Griffin spotter, though when bouncing along on a quad, a lamp is a useful high-speed scanner. Paul knows the hot spots and starts picking off the rabbits. They're looking clean and healthy. He gets a left and a right. They're youngsters.
How old would they be? 6, 8 weeks? I don't know, I'm guessing here. 6. Well, they're not young anyway. And where are we now? February? So been Christmas born. So obviously you get it all year round with rabbits, but been such a mild year, it's just unusual to see such big rabbits, young rabbits. Now you get them breeding this time of year rather than sort of like through the winter months. So mild winter, more rabbits. So maybe the rabbits are coming on a comeback. Maybe. Healthy rabbits again though, nice healthy rabbits. Well, do you know what? I used to shoot these for my gran, and she called them frying pan size. So yeah, I used to skin them off and shoot them and skin them off, and then she had them frying pan size rabbits. Perfect.
These are the only frying pan sizes we see. The rest are all roasting dish size. Paul tries walking and stalking. He gets a couple, but decides the bike is the more efficient method. The thermal scope is doing the job and it's accurate. There's no point adopting new technology if you can't be confident that you will make consistent headshots.
So, I mean, if anyone any doubts about the sort of accuracy of these types of units, head shooting rabbits is a pretty good way of showing it, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So, I don't know how many shot so far, dozen I suppose, and a little bit off on 1 or 2 of them, but yeah, headshot, clean rabbit, dead rabbit, so humane and accurate. So, yeah, very pleased actually. But the same as anything, you know, it's about getting out there and getting used to the bit of kit. You know, I was a bit rusty to start with, I'm not going to lie, but after a few shots, I come back. But it's just, you know, just using the kit, and obviously a little bit fiddlier than normal trying to record it, and to get some good rabbits on cameras, quite difficult, same as anything we do, and to get some good content for you guys. But we're actually doing a practical job as well, because I was looking down on this wheat field. You can see that, look. You can see, David, look, on there, look at that, look. It is getting this stuff here. Look, basically, that should be like that, long, but it's getting hit. See all these little bits nibbled? All the ends taken off. And that should be like, if you look down it looks flat. It should be, we've had some good weather, it should be tillering up and getting some good growth up. But, like it should be like this here. Instead, it's actually flat. There's not, it's not getting away. So rabbits are keeping it down. And these are the ones that are coming in. You see the soil, really sandy soil, dry soil, bottom of these hedgerows, holes all the way down through, look. They come from the village. Another one just come out, so you might have to keep going. Is that all right with you, David?
No.
What's next plan then, Dave? Want some more? Look at that one there, look, we need to take that one out. It's got a big fat belly of corn.
Back to the larder, and as always, regardless of quarry, Paul wants it presented well.
That's very neat.
Back to the old presentation thing, isn't it? Any game looks good when it's hung up. And
so what are you doing with the last cut? You sort of almost as to kill his heel.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, so you cut through, goes through, basically locks it on. Through there, and basically cuts through, so then it won't pull out.
What's the most efficient way of rabbit shooting, in your opinion?
A vehicle makes it always so much easier to get around the place, especially now. I mean, when I first come to this estate, there's rabbits everywhere, so you just literally drive out the farm yard and you start shooting. Quad bike's a kiddie. Quad bike, 2.2 to start with, then 1.7, range difference. Then they're just scared of bikes and the cracking. Quad bike, shotgun. Yeah.
Quad bike and shotgun?
Yeah.
I've never done that.
Haven't you? That's the best ever.
I don't know, it's weird, there's something nostalgic about seeing rabbits hanging up.
Yeah. Just looks good, doesn't it? Everybody's got their certain way of doing rabbits. I've been ferreting when I was younger, back to the younger days again, and you go with one guy and he's it this way, and some do it this, some split down the back and rip them both apart. My dad taught me this way, and I like it, so that's why I do it. It's a good way of keeping the meat clean, and I keep the same principle on doing a deer as well. So when you're skinning it away, you're skinning everything away from the meat all the time. Got a dirty hand, quick wash, put it away, so all the fur comes away from the meat all the time. Around the back, she's peeling it off around the back. Around there, get to the tail, little nick on the tail. Round, pull away, pull, turn over, and pull away. So you've got a very, very clean carcass.
Again, presentation is key, and our rabbit looks clean, fresh, and ready for a frying pan, if you have one large enough. For more information about the HIKMicro range, go to eliteoptical.co.uk. Thank you, Paul. There is something memorable about the smell of rabbit. And is that the whiff of David crawling out from under the Fieldsports Channel news stump?
This is Fieldsports Channel News. A farmer who protected his property by flipping a car off his land in County Durham has been cleared of dangerous driving and criminal damage. A jury at Durham Crown Court found Robert Hooper not guilty. The 57-year-old said he acted as he felt frightened and threatened. He argued an Englishman's home is his castle. The court heard that 21-year-old Charles Burns punched the farmer twice before Mr. Hooper removed the car. Burns, who had parked the Vauxhall Corsa on the farmer's land so he could enjoy a day in the countryside, had drunk up to 7 bottles of lager. Antis have come together with shooters to criticise a beer company for a planned mass deer cull. Brewdog may clear deer on a 93,000-acre sporting estate it bought in the Scottish Highlands. It plans to replace the wildlife with trees. A Brewdog spokesperson says Nature Scott set the plan for it to remove hares and deer from the newly planted woodland near Aviemore. Brewdog sacked 6 gamekeepers when it purchased the Kinrara estate. Armed officers from the National Crime Agency have raided a suspected illegal gunmaker in a property near Hastings in Sussex. They recovered handguns, modified ammunition and what they call firearms conversion equipment from the property. Police say the raid is a significant outcome and add that the equipment could have been responsible for a significant number of firearms. A 46-year-old man was arrested on suspicion of firearms offences. He has been released while inquiries continue. Thanks to Steve Kearney for the story. A high-speed police chase led to the arrest of 6 people suspected of poaching in Wiltshire. The suspects used lamps to try to dazzle officers who were chasing them at speeds of up to 90 miles an hour. Officers blocked the road and stopped 2 vehicles, which allegedly tried to ram a police car before the men ran off on foot. A police helicopter found them and their dogs in a field nearby. They arrested the men on suspicion of dangerous driving, failing to stop, and poaching. While Justice has launched a legal challenge over updated shooting licences for England. New rules classify game birds as livestock, which means pest birds can be shot to protect them. While Justice, which is run by Mark Avery and Chris Packham, says the new definition of livestock is unlawful and that the licences give unfair advantage to gamekeepers. Neither DEFRA nor Wild Justice have released a court date for the challenge. BASC is coordinating the legal defence.
There has been no change in the law, but what has happened is DEFRA have now included a definition around the term kept in relation to livestock within its general licence GR42 to prevent serious damage, and it's this which Wild Justice are challenging. The continued use of this general licence, as indeed all general licences, is of vital importance to a wide range of individual scenarios and situations, and BASC will do everything to ensure that this remains the case.
More than 50,000 people have signed a petition to save the wallabies of Loch Lomond. Local man Craig Morrison launched a campaign to keep the animals on an island where they've lived for 80 years. He hopes the petition will persuade the Scottish Government to protect the species and their habitat on Inchconnehan Island. The new owner of the island, BBC TV presenter Kirsty Young and her husband, want to move the 6 wallabies off the island. They've submitted plans for a holiday home with no room for wallabies. Fellow BBC TV presenter Chris Packham reportedly advised them it would be no problem to find the animals a new home. Protesters say moving the wallabies would be like relocating Nessie. Wallaby experts say the animals can swim. Scientists at an American university are developing a vaccine against Lyme disease. Researchers from Yale University have so far only tested the vaccine on guinea pigs. The Yale Daily News reports that the drug hasn't undergone clinical trials yet, so its effectiveness on people is unknown. The study focused on human diseases carried by black-legged ticks, also known as deer ticks. A human vaccine could take up to 5 years to develop. Anglers are angry that the government's River Management Agency have stripped a riverbank in Somerset of its trees. The Environment Agency cleared around 250 metres of the banks of the River Tone in Taunton. It says removing them is essential to manage the risk of floods. It's part of work to protect local properties. The story spotlights the confusion over riverbank management, with some government agencies condemning it and others paying for it. Last year we reported on Hereford farmer John Price, who was prosecuted for carrying out similar work to the River Lug. Dominic Garnett has been fishing the River Tone for 10 years.
Much like the river, I feel a bit gutted. I feel, along with all the trees and the undergrowth is stripped away. I feel like part of me has been stripped away, and I still don't really fully understand why it had to be that drastic. Someone's going to speak up for nature. Obviously, kingfishers and chub are not very good at PR. They don't do it themselves.
A group of specialist vets are launching a new scheme to protect the health and welfare of birds on game shoots and game farms. They developed Trusted Game in partnership with their gamekeeping and game farming clients. It is an auditing process linked to training. The vets want to avoid unnecessary, complicated or expensive systems imposed by government. Thanks to Paul Smith for the story. Boris Johnson is supporting the continuing use of real bearskin for the caps worn by the Queen's Guard. The Ministry of Defence has rejected the idea of replacing the Canadian pelt with fake fur, developed by anti-fur group PETA. In a leaked email published by LBC Radio, the Prime Minister said that the man-made fur did not meet the standards required. This may prove controversial at home after PETA named Boris's wife, Carrie, Person of the Year. Park rangers in the Kruger National Park in South Africa have shot and killed a poacher and injured another. A third person escaped. The rangers recovered a rifle and ammunition after the gun battle. Police are guarding the injured man at hospital as investigations continue. With visitor numbers down because of COVID, the park is facing a wave of poaching. The rhino population there has fallen 60% in 9 years, a decline that will lead to the animals being killed off within 4 years. Rhino numbers on private ranches and estates remain healthy. Thanks to Per Holmseth for the story. And finally, a group of beaglers lured a group of hunt sabs on a wild goose chase across South Wales. 5 sabs became 3 after chasing the cunning huntsmen and hounds across banks and bogs for almost 2 hours. As this footage shows, 2 of the exhausted sabs got caught in barbed wire fencing, trying to keep up. Note the gate just to the right. Once the anties went home, the Emlyn Beagles carried on with their day. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts.
Thank you, David, and thank you and welcome Deborah, who's our new News Supremo and wrote this, her first News Stump script. And there's an interview with Deborah in last night's Fieldsports Extra, the show that's exclusively for our Fieldsports Nation supporters. Plus, you can find out on Fieldsports Extra how to win a clay shooting luggage set from Jack Pyke, priced at nearly £100. To watch Fieldsports Extra, join our Fieldsports Nation group by signing up on the link in the description below. Next up, Dan Thor is out shooting January pheasants.
We all enjoy a bit of banter on a shoot day, but Beaters Day takes it to a whole different level, especially when it's Browning shooter and Instagrammer Dan Thor and his mates.
Today we're at my mate's place in Hertfordshire. It's a Beaters Day, we're at the end of the season. Rob kindly invited me, which is nice of him. They've all worked hard throughout the season, so this is a way to pay them back and let them enjoy a day. Nice to see a lot of the guys here today and the girls shooting, which is lovely, and some youngsters as well going to be on peg. Hopefully today we can get little Ollie on peg as well and perhaps give him a little bit of tuition, because the poor little lad's worrying, but like I've said, you don't need to worry, just get a few shots on your shoulder and enjoy the day. There's quite a few birds here left. I mean, the other week they had a really, really good day, so there's definitely going to be plenty of bangs today. I'm definitely going to be a lot of banter as well, you know, there's a lot of characters here today.
Talking of which, here's Fred the keeper.
Well, doing the tweeds on today, look.
Yeah, Pumas today, look, eh? I give the gunner service one a bit of WD.
Oh, crikey. How can you treat a nice gun like that so bad?
That's only a bit of WD on it, isn't it? It shuts all right now, hopefully it gets all right.
Today, Dan's trying out a new gun.
Today we're using the Browning Exquisite 525. Once again, another lovely little gun. It's a multi-choke. I think this one's a 30-inch barrels as well. I haven't used it much this season, so I thought I'd get it out and blow the cobwebs off, see how we can get on today. Whether we're going to hit a lot, I'm not too sure, so let's see what happens. Some beautiful engraving there. I do like the engraving with a black background, stands out quite a lot. I mean, it does get some nice looks from a lot of other people and a lot of other guns. It handles well. But yeah, we can see how it goes on these nice pheasants today. A nice bird shot out front there by Chris. I think the guy on the end there had quite a few shots, didn't he? Shot a few. Rob had some nice curling birds there, but they obviously took over the wood there to the other guys. Off to the next drive.
Because I'm not there, that's where I'm normally am.
Well, perhaps they should have.
About time Jack Pyke started doing a few Puma
Ring
tweets,
them up,
innit?
tell them.
Well, there you go.
You could be wearing the old camouflage ones.
Yeah,
The
they
camouflage
don't do
joggers.
size for fat people though, do they? That's the thing, they only do it for models.
At the next drive, Dan's right on the end of the line at peg 10.
Partridge going out there. Too low. Well, that was an excellent drive. I can't complain at all. We're standing here on peg 10, which is right on the end here, so they told me to move up about 50, 60 yards, because as you know, in January the birds will take a different course, and yeah, I think we took 5 or 6 off there, which was lovely. There were some good birds coming through the middle. Yeah, just an absolute excellent drive. Well done, mate. Cheers, Joshy. Oh, cheers, mate. Thank you. Well shot there, mate. How many did you get?
2.
Yeah, well done.
Time for 11s, and Ted the estate owner is keen to try Rob's homemade toffee vodka.
I would say that was very nourishing.
Yeah, this drive's a lovely drive. A lot more partridge in here. There will be the odd pheasant or two, but mainly the bulk of birds and guns will be just over there in this distance. Here they come, let's see them. Another white one going through. Actually, got quite a lot of white pheasants here. I think he put 150 down this year. He's got a few reeves down. The reeves have now got a bounty on them for about 200 quid, but he doesn't want them shot, so if that's something he wants to leave, we'll leave him alone. But yeah, they've shot a good 50, 60 of the white ones this year. Whether that's money for charity or not, I'm not too sure. Or you just put them down just to mix it up a little bit on the shoot, you know. They're cracking marker birds. But yeah, when he said don't shoot the hen birds today, it was the gun on the end line that decided to shoot the hen bird. So hopefully there's a fine on that one today.
Dan doesn't get much shooting on this drive. 13-year-old Ollie shoots his first ever partridge.
Did you do what we said, just come through him? Yeah, nice, well done. How many shots you get?
I had 10 there.
Yeah, lovely. So you can do it, confidence.
They came over the hedge really fast.
So what cartridges does Dan choose to shoot in his lovely new Browning?
Express today. They're a nice 32 gram 5 Supreme game. Been using them all season. I've been shooting the steel as well, quite a lot, but obviously on this farm, Ted, he actually doesn't want steel being shot on the land at the moment, so we're having to stick with lead, but yeah, they're killing very well. Some of these January birds are flying high, especially when they come out of this wood. Sometimes you get birds that come above these wires.
Up.
I think everyone had a good shot there, didn't they? Everyone shot a bird, I think. All the way through the line, it was lovely, except we've got the sun in our face as normal, mate. You probably wear glasses. I'm not too fond of wearing glasses. I find they sort of, I'm not too sure really how to describe. I just can't, I feel like visually I can't see as well as I can with the naked eye, but the best thing to do is stand there like that as I stood all drive. But yeah, it was the same as in September, mate, wasn't it? We had the same problem with the sun, but I suppose I just try and concentrate on looking on the wood, and then when I do see the bird come up, just, you know, once I see it, just put the gun up and get it where I want to get it. Otherwise, you keep staring in the sun, you get that black spot then. But there's another cracking drive. At least it ain't raining, that's the main thing.
You couldn't stretch far enough. I needed 32 inch. Another 2 inch, mate, I'd have been well away.
It is a fascinating place. Ted's been a part of the hunt for many years, and he's a knowledgeable bloke. Had some good grub. Hopefully we're all full of energy again and raring to go. Like I say, they're going to be blanketing that cover just, well, quite a fair way away now into this wood, and then they'll push this wood out to us, and hopefully we can see a few birds. Got reeves down, so the keeper said to us earlier on today, Robert, he doesn't want the reeve shot. If he does, there's a £300 fine. Big bounty on it. And Fred seems to have got a lot of money today, so hopefully if it comes out, we'll let him pay for it. Oh, reeves! It's the reeves! I think I connected with 2, and lucky enough we had some back guns out the back there to finish them up, but yeah, they were quite wide of me this time. I mean, look at the bird still flying out. He's blowing up nice and early, so I guess he's going to leave it till Monday for the walk round. Shut, Rob! That was a little bit of a quiet drive, but you can't expect every drive to be busy. There's a couple of nice cock birds shot down the line there. Rob just shot another 2. But no, we seriously have had a fantastic day today. There was some quality bird shot, and the young lads as well, especially, they shot some of their first partridge today, and it's lovely to see such a nice gang of people around. And I mean, just look at everyone over there, they're all happy and smiley, and they're all talking about the shooting today. Everyone's had a shot throughout the line. I can't really explain how good it is to be amongst all these friends. It's a nice togetherness, and everyone fits in well. When the season's over, help the old man out. We have plenty of maintenance on the pens and getting the shoot ready for next season. I get stuck into the pigeons as well on the rape, and obviously the cover crops, and yeah, it's just a busy time ahead.
You can follow Dan on Instagram at Dan_Thor_shooting. And for more about the Browning 525 Exquisite, go to browning.eu. Links in the description below.
Thanks, Dan. Now, the former boss of the League Against Cruel Sports is looking into Tony Blair's hunting ban and whether it has, in Blair's terms, worked. James Marchington joins Jim Barrington as he finds out about hare poaching.
Got a bit.
A good lurcher at work, legally, is a joy to watch. The other side of the coin is this: gangs of poachers illegally killing wildlife, trashing crops, and threatening farmers and keepers with violence. Jim Barrington, animal welfare consultant to the Countryside Alliance, is visiting Essex keeper Geoff Garrod to find out about the problems he's having with hare poaching.
We call it the Rural Wrongs Project. It's quite simple. It's to find out what the effect of the Hunting Act has been and how attitudes of landowners and farmers have changed to the hare, the fox and the deer.
Yeah, when I first came here, the hare population was very small. You know, literally you'd see the odd one. And on arriving here as part of my job, predator control was one of the biggest parts. And over the years, the hare population did increase. But with an increased hare population, the biggest problem that we had was hare poaching. We were getting, you know, inundated with people coming on here chasing hares, coursing hares, illegal coursing. The effect on the hares was devastating because our population plummeted because people were coming out here daytime, nighttime. If it's at night, they had lamps. They were chasing the hares with the dogs, also with the vehicles. And it was nothing to come out in the morning and see a dozen hares laying on the side of the field. There's a little calling card, you know, and they devastated the hare population. So as you can see here, you know, this is part of our line of defences now. We've had to build gates across gateways. We've had to dig ditches to stop vehicles just coming down the road and just driving straight off the road because, you know, there's nothing worse than you've got a hare out here, you've got valuable crops in the field, and you get a souped up four-wheel drive vehicle, charging across the field, doing donuts, trying to keep the hare in the field so the dog can chase it, and then off they go, you know, just not a care in the world, disappeared, left us with all the damage that's here.
Ed Coles is another keeper who's suffered at the hands of poaching gangs, who are quick to turn violent when challenged.
They'll think nothing of ramming your vehicle, firing catapults and ball bearings at you. It's bad enough dealing with them during the day, but when you're at night and you don't know where they are, and you know, it can be a little bit hair-raising sometimes. We've had people assaulted with bats and bars. They've used vehicles to ram people off the road. You can kind of deal without that kind of thing. You know, like life's hard as it is, you know, working in the countryside without the threat of getting rammed or catapulted. Yeah.
Things got so bad that Ed set up a petition calling for a change in the law.
After having several weeks of constant coursing, one of the other local gamekeepers had a vehicle related to coursing come into his yard, ram his dog kennels and try and steal his dogs. And that was the key thing for me, which prompted me to start the petition, because I kind of think it's a little bit unforgivable. It's like trying to steal one of your children, you know, if you're trying to steal someone's dogs, and how they have the nerve to do anything like that. It disgusted me, and that was the final push where I thought I've got to at least to try and do something. So after being angry, I spent 20 minutes on the government's petition website. Yeah, and 6 months later, we'd got 13,500 signatures, 2 responses from the government, and at least some kind of commitment that something was going to happen.
What happened was the government promised to crack down on hare poaching in its police, crime, sentencing and courts bill. Trespassing to chase hares with dogs is already illegal, of course, but a change in the law would mean bigger penalties, new offences and greater powers for the courts. The bill includes controversial measures on things like protests and hate crimes, and it's bouncing back and forth between the Lords and the Commons at the moment. If and when it becomes law, will that make a difference?
I think it is going to help. It might take a year or two for it to fully come to fruition, but hopefully, you know, we'll have less violent reports, if you know what I mean. There'll be more of a reason for them to get out of the way a bit sharpish and clear off, essentially. That's what we're hoping anyway. Yeah.
So what does Jim Barrington make of what he's seen?
You realise that the countryside isn't like a Disney film. It's not simple, it's not cheap, and it's people like that who are dealing with the realities of wildlife management and indeed animal welfare, rather than sometimes the rather simplistic view that's put over by people who would like to feel more comfortable about leaving everything to nature. And in fact, it's people like Geoff who are the real conservationists.
Thanks to all for those interviews. Next, from hares to the wider world of hunting and shooting on YouTube, it's Hunting YouTube. This is Hunting YouTube, which aims to show the top hunting and shooting videos that YouTube has to offer. Anti-hunting clothing company Patagonia puts out a film about falconry, which is nice to see. It seems to be mainly because of the falconer Sean Hayes' skin colour, but that's up to them to bang on about if they like. Colin Stubbs says Corvid Hunter is worth a shout out this week, especially because he has a go at vegans, which Colin enjoyed. This film is called I'm a Meat Eater, for that I make no apology. Viking Arms is the UK distributor for Ruger rifles. Here's a film it made with the help of former Gurkhas in Wiltshire trying out the rifles. It is part 2 of a series the firm is running on YouTube called Drop Gear. Holt's Auctioneers organises a clay shoot every year at Sandringham. TGS Outdoors films the day on the Royal Estate. Meanwhile, Henry Darling, he of the Hyde Spikes you may remember, produces a film of a simulated clay day also in Norfolk. Thanks to Danny Boyle for sending in this news report about a fox hunt in Kentucky. The Iroquois Hunt Club in Lexington was formed in 1880 and the annual Blessing of the Hounds kicks off the season. East Cape bushveld hunting is out after
a warthog and mountain reedbuck hunted by a couple called Matt and Jess. And finally, thanks to Andrew Gibbons for this film of American stand-up Ron White from quite a long time ago, who does a wonderful routine about deer hunting. Thank you, Andrew. That's it for this week. I put all these films into a playlist for you. Click on the eye symbol top right or check this film's description. If you have a YouTube film you would like us to pop into the weekly top 8, email me the link, charlie@fieldsportschannel.tv. And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so, please whiz over to our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, pop your email address into our register page, and we'll contact you about this show, Fieldsports Britain. It's at 7 p.m. UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.